Government has a threshold responsibility to secure our borders. That's why I directed my Secretary of Homeland Security, Janet Napolitano, a former border governor, to improve our enforcement policy without having to wait for a new law.
So what you have now is you have unprecedented level of immigration enforcement, and it falls into various pillars. Of course, there's the border control, and the number of admissions or the number of illegal entries, which is the way that the Border Patrol has always measured illegal migration to the United States, has fallen to levels that haven't been seen since the early 1970s, if not before. You have a focus on the workplace, and instead of huge raids in the way that the Bush administration enforced the law, there's more of a focus on audits of employers that are thought to hire unauthorized immigrants in high numbers, and those have expanded quite significantly with fines and in some prosecutions of employers. You have criminal prosecutions taking place at the border, so people that aren't just deported and put into civil removal proceedings, but are actually criminally prosecuted first and then put into removal proceedings, and then, of course, deported from the United States. And then you have a whole set of programs related to people that have been arrested, and these are kind of the post-arrest programs like the Secure Communities program and part of the 287G program, which is named after a section of the Immigration and Nationality Act, which came into being in the 1996 immigration law. But basically what the Secure Communities program does is anybody that's arrested at this point, their fingerprints are taken. Those are run through the FBI databases. Always happens with anybody that's arrested. And that database is now interoperable with DHS information systems. So if that person appears because they've been picked up by the Immigration Service at some point in the DHS system, DHS can decide whether they want to actually initiate removal proceedings on that person. So it's basically going to cover pretty much everybody in the country before too long, and it's expanded quite significantly in a very, very short period of time. The 287G program has that component to it. It has a screening that takes place by local jailers and local sheriffs, kind of post-arrest, post-conviction in some cases. And it also has a model where local law enforcement that go out and arrest people are kind of deputized to do that by the Immigration Service and check people's immigration status that they're arresting out in the field. So those two programs have, particularly the Secure Communities program, has really represented a significant ratcheting up of reviewing immigration cases post-arrest. And of course, the concern with these programs is that although they're prioritizing, according to the Immigration and Customs Enforcement Division of the Department of Homeland Security, serious criminals, which they may well be doing, it's not quite clear who actually is being arrested. And so it could be in some places, of course, local police generally, are perfectly fine public servants, and in most places they're more concerned about who's before them and whether they're a criminal rather than immigration status. I'd say in the overwhelming majority of cases that's the case. But in some places there's real political pressure, local political pressure on sheriff's offices, for example, to get involved in immigration enforcement. And in these cases there's concern perhaps that the local police are arresting people that aren't serious criminals and they're doing it on pretexts and for relatively minor crimes. And that's the concern with, say, the 287G program and the operation of the Secure Communities program. Department of Homeland Security may want to just go and arrest criminals, and they may have priorities, but the reality is that the people that are getting put into the system may not be the people that they've prioritized. So there's those programs, and and of course, there's various programs related to, non-immigrants overstaying their visas. And while people generally think about unauthorized immigrants as people that have illegally crossed borders, a high percentage of them are people that came legally and just violate the terms of their visa or overstay their visa.